Hey guys, back with another live. Another day in paradise. Hope you guys are doing alright. Attacks are pretty bad today. My forehead. Becoming real difficult to just do anything. Hoping today's better. With it being the 5th, I don't know. A lot of things are going on right now in the world. So at this point, just kind of playing it by ear. But attacks on sides of the head, top of the head, forehead. It's pretty bad. But I hope you guys are doing okay. Let's see. Anybody else to come on here? Got a few things I'm going to do today before I head into work. I'm definitely going to focus on positivity, higher vibrations. Going to try to connect to a higher vibration and get out of this muck that they're keeping me in. Hey, Melissa, keeping me in a low vibrational, just nothingness. So definitely going to try to raise my vibrations today and stick with that. Love you too, Melissa. And just keep my vibes as high as I can today. Woke up, felt like my eyes were hurting. Definitely felt like the swellingness. I'm going to take some bentonite clay, liquid form, and probably some apple cider vinegar to remove some of the residue. Love you too, Melissa. Gonna get some fruit and kind of stick with that today and drink lots of water. I also got to get Elizabeth Abel Talks About Stern. She channels on YouTube. Can you give me the name of the channel, Melissa? Or put it in Discord? Just send me one of her videos in Discord and I'll look at it. Yeah, today, so supposedly, like, everybody's making this big deal with the CERN thing. I'm not really sure, so just be on the lookout. I'm hoping Lookout for Charlie will hop on today, do something. I haven't really seen Kevin Christian post a video in I don't know how long, so I don't know. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hit him up. So I don't know, but I'm assuming today will be a trying day for sure. Not really sure, but gonna try to stay grounded. Need some more sage. Elizabeth April. I'm gonna have to look into it. Yeah, they're messing with the light on my phone. It's real bright. I'm kind of tired of that. Like I get so much stuff in every direction. I basically feel like a punching bag. You know, I'd like to see this being done to them instead of using me as a punching bag, you know, for their I have something proved. Here, watch this. Sort of bullshit. Definitely not fair. Um, you are too, Big Joe. Big Joe. So I'm gonna take this shot. That right there. There's Bailey. She's not too happy. She's ready to go to the creek. So I'm gonna take that right there. Yes, sir. Doing my best. I appreciate it. You too. Trying to stay as positive as I can, considering the circumstances. And trying to radiate positivity throughout the day. I just took that immortal shot. It's not that bad. Yeah, we're gonna go. They are kind of expensive though, but probably worth it. Thanks, my friend. I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Alright, so take some raw garlic. That should be fun. Down the hatchet. Yep. Yeah, I noticed that, Melissa. A lot of people are talking about it, so I'm not going to try to make a big deal about it. Just going to push forward and try to talk. Yeah, the apple cider is pretty good. You got to get used to it. I know some people who can't handle it. They take the pill form. I'd rather just take a spoonful and get it over with. I've actually used it on my feet in a bathtub. I just don't care for the smell. Bye. Love you too. Have a good day. You're gonna have to wait. You have to wait, baby. So, all right, taking some garlic. And then me and Bailey are gonna head to the creek. Yeah, stay strong, my friend. Enjoy your day. I'd like to stay out in nature as much as possible today. I do gotta go to work, unfortunately. Something I don't want to do. Shh. I'll take you in just a minute, okay? I probably won't stay on here too long. Bailey, come on. Because I got a lot of stuff to do today, including taking her to the creek before she has a conniption fit. Hope you're. I won't stay on here too long, you guys. Hope you guys had a good 4th of July. So I went to this place out here. Her name's Bailey. Yeah, she's real smart, real good dog, real good companion. I went to go watch a fireworks show. And the place, I mean, it was just so packed. Even just outside, you could feel the body heat off of everybody. It was ridiculous. But I noticed watching the fireworks, like the post-traumatic stress started kind of kicked in, and I was like, oh crap. Anxiety started kicking in because there was so many people, and I was like, oh, go to a happy place. But overall, it was nice. It was fun. I haven't done something like that in a long time, so I enjoyed it. Me and the kids, we popped off fireworks. Yeah, it was kind of fun. I hope you guys had a good day. Yeah, right, Melissa? Yeah, my phone was dead. I wanted to do a live during the show so you guys could have seen it, but my phone was dead. I was running around all day yesterday after work with the kids because my kid's dad, he lives like just a few miles from me. So during the summer, the kids kind of go back and forth, and like I had to tend to their needs because they're all different ages. So they all need like different things, and it's always like a mission. One's 11. He's like, well, I need this. And my other one's a teenager, and he's like, I need this. And it's like on the other side of town. And I'm like, here we go. It's like Mission Impossible soccer mom in a minivan. Thanks, Big Show. Yeah, I'm not too much on big crowds, being highly sensitive to energy, empathic. I can just, it'll cause me to be unbalanced sometimes. So I live in a city called Huntsville. I'm in Alabama, and right now it's really hot and humid. Yesterday, the humidity was like probably, I don't know, like the highest point it could possibly be out here. Plus, it was like 90 something degrees. Then we were popping fireworks, and we had a small whoops, I guess, moment. Where one of the big fireworks tilted sideways and was hitting our neighbor's car. She came out, she was real nice though. She was real understanding, thank God. I was like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, in Alabama. But we had fun. Cállate. You're in San Diego. In Dago. Nice out there. My ex was from San Diego. Yeah, right. Yeah, one hit her garage door and the rest hit her car. She came out and she was like, "What's going on?" I was like, I don't know what I'm doing." I'll take you, but you have to wait. She's ready to go. Oh, come on, Bailey. We're gonna go. Be patient. Oh, that's cool. You get to serve. See, I belong by the beach. And I haven't been able to make it to the beach this summer. Every summer we go no less than like twice a summer, but this summer I haven't made it at all. I think last summer we went down like 4 or 5 times. This summer when COVID hit, we went probably like 8 or 9 times. I'm like 5 hours from the beach. I just felt like I belong by the beach. Don't bite. Be patient. Oh, were you when you were in the Marines? Yeah, way, way back in the day, a long time ago. My ex was in the Marines and we were stationed out at Camp Lejeune. Yeah, I like Panama City. Me and the kids, we go snorkeling at St. Andrews. I like Dustin a lot. Yeah, she's bitching at me because she's ready to go to the creek. She lets me know who's boss. Oh, here comes the helicopter. Yeah, yeah, you guys do. Oh no, we're still friends to this day. I still talk to him to this day. Thanks, Big Joe. I appreciate it. Morning, Nick. Another day in paradise, brother. I hope you're okay too, Big Joe. At least you can be by the waters. Go surfing. I would definitely stay in the waters as much as possible. Anybody who's close to nature, definitely stay out in it as much as possible. Yeah, all this positivity today. We gotta stay in positivity today as much as possible. Yeah, yesterday, negativity started, like thoughts and stuff like that. Um, and I just shoot it away. I was like, nope, nope, not doing it. Nope, not today. Nope, no negativity. Shoo shoo. Nope. Are you flying today, Nick? How did you get to watch the fireworks yesterday? I'll probably post some of the videos of the fireworks show. I'll be honest, it was actually a bit too much. I've never seen a fireworks show like that before. I've never seen some of the fireworks like they've had before. It was intense. But it was like a bit too much to a certain point. I thought it was a grand finale, and I was like, okay, time to go. It stopped like for a few seconds and they started back up again. And I was like, what the hell? They're like, nope, we're not done. Oh, how'd it go? Yeah, I've been to Vegas. I was there for 4 days. By the third day, I was ready to come home. I remember my last trip there. The only card game I like to play out there is Baccarat. Vegas has the best ones. Um, I sat at a table for like 8 hours playing Baccarat uh, with these Iranian guys. Um, and we drank together. They started following my lead. We were winning and we had a good time. It was so much fun until this Chinese guy came to the table and laid down 10,000. We were like, oh shit. We got up and left the table. Yeah, we left. We're like, screw that. Yeah, the third day I was ready to come home. It's all fun and games. So you have to fly back to here from Vegas with a hangover. That was like the worst flight ever. Yeah, I actually won like I think like $800, $1,200 playing Baccarat. I don't know why I just like Baccarat. I always wanted to play blackjack in a casino. Did you, Nick? Oh well. Yeah, it's easy to do, right? Yeah, Baccarat's best odds. Yeah, I like that game. It's fun. I'm all about the fun. I didn't know that, Nick. Holy crap, dude. That's crazy, Nick. That's crazy, Nick. Good job, dude. Yeah, I didn't look into it. I didn't read it. I mean, there's been so much stuff going on. I just feel like there's so many distractions right now. Like I don't know what to do, but radiate positivity as much as possible. I feel like the distractions are at an all-time high right now. All right. Hope you're okay, Nick. Moving along. Come here, baby. Hopefully today will be a better day, Nick. I'm not gonna stay on here long, you guys. I got a lot of stuff to do. Yeah. Yeah, I think everything is just surfacing, Nick. Would you quit being frustrated? We'll go. You're getting frustrated? So want to go outside? You want to go bye-bye? So you want to go outside? Go outside. Love you, brother. Yeah, hop on. Here, I'll post I've never had you on one of my lives, Nick. It would be a breath of fresh air. Yeah, you should hop on, Nick. There he is, the man with the master plan. Welcome aboard, Christina's ship. Won't let this ship sink. We're gonna keep on floating. I know Nick's got a paddle. We'll paddle our way through this. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there, barely, but still alive, still fighting.
Yeah, same here. Barely, but still alive. The weather looks nice out there. I don't see any clouds behind you.
It's perfectly blue
Clear
sky.
skies.
Yeah, the weather just broke. It's been pretty dang stormy lately.
Yeah, same here. We had some stormy weather, and it just broke this morning.
Yeah, it's been frustrating with my new flight gear. I've not been able to use any of it because the winds and weather just have been way too much.
Yeah, same here.
It's finally breaking, and so I'll be able to start getting more videos and more flying adventures out there.
Good deal.
Yeah, I'm just so excited. I was just gifted a full paramotor set.
Oh, really?
And so now I don't have to hike as much.
Awesome, Nick.
Well, here.
Good news.
I'm really grateful. My friend has been letting me stay at his condo, or his condo, while I get my gear sorted out. And I'll show you guys my new paramotor.
Awesome.
This is a Vittorossi Atom 80. It's an 80cc, 67 horsepower motor, 120 millimeter fan.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
This is the harness.
That looks so awesome, dude. I know you're excited.
Oh, I'm beyond
I know you're
excited.
happy to use that, dude.
I actually have words for the type of excitement.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the kind of excited that a person could pass out and die from.
I'm so happy for you, Nick. I'm so happy for you, Dad.
Thank you.
Are you gonna fly today?
I'm sorry?
Are you gonna fly today?
Potentially, either today or tomorrow morning.
Okay. Good deal. Today will be a good day to fly. It looks like.
Yeah, no, the weather looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, the weather out here, it's real sunny, but the humidity is just not good. The humidity.
See if I get.
Happened? Where'd you go, Nick? Hop back on. I need you, brother. You gotta hop back on, Nick. It kicked you off. Probably lost signal. There he is. Good deal.
There we go.
Back in business.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you crystal clear.
There we go.
So how was your 4th last night?
It was very quiet. I didn't do much of anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was, it was real noisy out here. It seemed like everybody was popping them off last night. And I went with a family just to get out of the house. And it was a bit too much. A lot of the, noise, it was like the post-traumatic stress disorder kicked in. With a little bit of anxiety just from, the loud fireworks. But overall, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I heard you earlier mention that it was pretty off the hook.
Yeah, it was. I'll be honest with you. I've been to, a lot of fireworks shows. That one was a little bit just too much for me. Like, I'm gonna post one of the videos so everybody can see, because I'm just a highly sensitive being.
Yeah.
Like I can only take so much of chaos where I'm just like, hey, have enough, going home.
Yeah.
And it was pretty chaotic because the place where we went to, I mean, it was slam packed. Like, it was slam packed with people. People were drinking. I mean, we were outside and you could feel the body heat of just all the people.
Yeah, dirt. Sorry, lost audio there.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now you're back.
Yay. It was cool, but it was just a bit too much for me.
Yeah,
I
that's a lot of
prefer-
the reason I didn't go out either, is at the late stage in the game that all of this is at,
Yeah.
I'm doing everything I can to minimize my exposure to potentially hazardous situations.
Yeah, see, and I'll be honest with you, after I kind of regretted it, where I felt like I should have just stayed at home and
Yeah.
limited my exposure to any kind of just aggravating energy or hostility or anything like that.
That's
Like
part of the whole point of the program, is to limit your
yeah,
ability to live your life. It's part of what they call active denial. It's the old Hegelian Nazi protocols where a good person, when harassed and having difficult time, just leaves.
yeah, exactly. Or
dilutes
dilutes the situation at all costs.
Yeah, but what that does is it constantly forces you to have to leave. So what kind of life are you going to have where all you're doing is leaving? You're being forced
and not being able to confront the situation in a healthy manner. Like, you can't even confront the situation being presented to you.
No.
Because it always turns into something and is amplified.
Yep.
It gets to be out of control. And see, that was my problem last night, because we were sitting down and this couple with their two kids, it was a Caucasian couple. Granted, they were already sitting there, but the place was packed with like 1,000 people. There was nowhere to sit. So we actually sat next to them, and that's how everybody was sitting. They were sitting, kind of side by side, because the place was just slam packed. Yep. And I could just feel their sense of racism, because I was with the Mexican side of my family. Yep. And one of my family members' friends, was standing up. They were all talking. The show wasn't even going on yet. And the lady, she said real rudely, she was like, do you mind getting out of the way so my kids can see the show? Mm-hmm. And, I looked at her and I said, the show hasn't even started yet. And then she was like, well, basically how she said it was, can you stay on your side? Yeah. And then, I made a rude remark back, and I said, well, what do you want me to put? Should I put up a fence? Do we need to put up a white picket fence for you? I mean, this is ridiculous. So she kind of had that standoff energy the whole time to make it non-enjoyable because of her misery.
The narcissistic entitlement.
Exactly. It was entitlement. And I was like, look, lady, after they left, the car they were sitting in front of wasn't even their car. It belonged to another couple. Yeah. And I was like, you have no entitlement here. This is, how everybody is sitting. There's no seating arrangements because we're outdoors.
Yeah. In a public space where we each equally have a rights and responsibility to enjoy.
Exactly. So I wasn't trying to make a big deal about it. I let it go, but I had to endure that energy for quite some time. So people don't even realize even just the effect
of that kind of presence has on people. It's excruciating.
Yeah, it is very excruciating because being empathic, we pick up on the body cues, on the subtext, on the emotion.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a very common, either natural or learned trait of victims of this type of abuse, a survival strategy to help read the situation.
Exactly.
Victims often gain this intuition and learn to read the body language and cues. As we all know, body language is 90% of communication. And yet these entitled narcissists want to ignore that that's not a thing. And that communication is 100% of communication, when really it's the smallest part of it.
Well, these narcissists, it's all about their world. And it's almost like you said, entitlement.
Well, it comes down to a simple fact that if you're unwilling to acquiesce to the rights of others, you do not deserve your own.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it was just I'm not trying to drag it out, but it was an aggravating situation to where, at some point I had to stand my ground because she was actually standing, like she had her back facing me, like she was a security guard protecting her kids. And, I was like looking at her like, I have kids and I'm a mom, like I don't. And then she needed her husband to protect her against her, just wrongful energy. Like he kept looking at me and, I was like, I might sound childish, but I don't give a shit. I had, a couple family members with me, and I was just like, hey, if you want to go, we can go. I'm not from Alabama, sir. My family comes from South Philly. Like, if you want to go, we can go.
They try to push. Is it?
I have no problem with telling your kids and my kids to put on their earmuffs so they don't hear my cursing, with no problem, and we can go to town. That's not a problem. But I'm not going to sit here and take your narcissistic abusive energy while you're standing, there acting like, I have to endure your adult temper tantrum. I don't have to put up with this shit. So you can get up and you can leave, because they always want to bombard me with their energy and force it on me. I don't have to endure it. I'm not the problem if you choose not to reflect and only project. So it was an interesting encounter that almost ruined my evening. But, I looked around and I was like, I've already been through enough. It's not even worth my time. It's not. Because at the end of the day, that kind of individual is not going to see their wrongdoing.
No, they're not.
No, they're not going to see their wrongdoing.
Well, there's the other half of the coin where they know exactly what they're doing, and they're just acting like a 3-year-old trying to be obstinate and get their way regardless.
Exactly.
In an attempt to make things so uncomfortable for you that you just give up.
Yeah. No, exactly.
And that is one of the primary check marks for SRA, or satanic ritual abuse.
Yeah, exactly. So I choose not to encounter or endure narcissistic energy anymore. And I'm just going to basically shoo it off and tell these people who bombard me with their narcissistic energy, please step away from my energy field, because you're overstepping your boundaries in so many ways.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't have to get into detail, and I'm a very vocal person. I know they want us to do things like act out and, get irate. That's never going to happen with me, but I will become vocal, where I'll state my truth and say, you're overstepping your boundaries with your energy. Get out of my energy field.
Yep.
You're not allowed to step into my personal space with your hoopla. And if you have a problem with it, you can leave.
Yep.
I don't have to put up with any adults' temper tantrums as to, you know, oh, I want it my way and da 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 da. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's name, Dave. No, you're absolutely right. And that's what I do. I either dilute the situation or I just let them hang themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I let them hang themselves. Last night was just a perfect example of one of my encounters with narcissistic energy that happens to be racist, which I encounter quite often out here in the South in Alabama. I encounter it quite often, but I'm able to dilute the situation because, you know, a lot of these people that I've crossed paths with have never, you know, seen the world or have never left even the state, you know. So I'm just like, okay, well, I get it, but you know, I'm harmless and I love you, and that's what it is.
Well,
you know.
Take.
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's very difficult to not internalize.
Yeah, it is. It's really difficult for somebody who's real sensitive to encounter numerous different energies, especially energies that are just self-absorbing.
Another thought I had in regards to her attitude was, you know, the show hadn't started yet, but it's a fireworks display. You're not looking laterally right or left. It's all above you. So it doesn't matter who is sitting next to you, how tall it is. You're looking up in the air anyway.
Well, see, and I took all this into consideration. I respected her wishes because I'm a parent where, you know, we got out of the way. I was like, okay, let's, you know, stay in our area, I suppose. I mean, literally everybody that was there at the show was like 2 inches from each other. It was so packed. But when my girlfriend showed up, she lit a cigarette and the lady was huffing and puffing and almost said something.
Yeah, it really is entitlement. Yeah, the frustrating part is that there is a conversation to be had there, but they won't have it. They want to push everything to the randomest outliers instead of just being an American. Oh, you still there, Christina? And we're back.
Okay. Yeah, I just stated, Nick, that, you know, if somebody like that is irritated by my presence or energy, they need to check in with their demons, you know?
And you're right. That's really what it comes down to, is that there is a possession of demons, that their demons recognize your light, your
exactly. And they get irritated.
And it irritates the fuck out of them.
Yeah, they get really irritated. I'm like, hey, you know what? Not my problem, dude. My demons are doing their job, bro. I don't know what's going on with yours, but
in that discernment, you're able to love your enemy because you realize that they are possessed. It isn't necessarily them.
Yeah, exactly.
Influenced by a demonic force.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree.
And that's part of the aspect of the voice of God weapons.
Yeah, you're right.
It isn't literally a demonic possession. It's demonic, absolutely, but it is technology that is crowbarring and sledgehammering their mentality into a different direction.
Yeah.
And it's prolific, and it's not just targeted individuals that are affected by these technologies. It's everybody that can be affected.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the things that I've learned is the voice of God weapons, Medusa, as they're called by the Marines. What they do is they record your brain waves, and then they can re-overlay it later, forcing you to re-feel that emotion. And when you have a neurological engram that is similar, they can overlay it on anybody that has similar brainwave patterns, and for them to feel happy, sad, mad, or anything in between.
Yeah.
It's not just putting voices in your head, it's literally crowbarring your physiology.
Yeah.
And your neurology.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of the things that I've learned through my research is the brains are, as complicated as they are actually pretty simple.
Yeah.
And since I've got some time with you, I want to take a moment to share what shielding and other information that I've learned.
Yeah, go for it, Nick.
Shielding.
And at any time, if you want to show people like your stuff, feel free. Like, you can take over the show if you want.
Oh, no, thank you.
No, yeah, because you know what? I'll be honest with you. So I feel like I'm at a writer's block with my energy. Not only due to my attacks, but whatever's going on in the world and the universe right now. And I've ran out of things to discuss.
Yeah.
And I think I need to take it in a different direction. So I can kind of snap out of it again and be on point.
Yes. Yeah, I feel similar. All of the attacks are getting worse.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know how to respond to this level of stupidity.
No, I don't either. I mean, it's just so evilly ignorant. Where I'm literally just in shock. No pun intended. I'm literally just at a loss for words, where I'm just like, what the fuck is this? You know?
I feel the same way. So there's several things that I've learned as far as shielding and protecting myself from this. I've learned to approach it from two different directions. One is shielding. The experiments that I've done have shown that I'm able to attenuate or block the effect of the equipment by, I'd say, 20 to 30%, just with the rudimentary, stuff that I've built so far.
Okay.
The first approach is to literally block the signal. And what I've learned is these are scalar waves.
Yeah, I get a lot of the scalar waves.
Scalar wave, as like, imagine if you had one end of a rope and I had the other end of the rope.
Yeah.
If you take your end of the rope and you wiggle it up and down, it creates a transverse wave that, the wave goes from one end to the other and bounces back and forth, right? But we're dealing with scalar waves. A scalar wave is different than a transverse wave. Imagine the same example of this rope that we're both holding. And now you push and pull it so it moves back and forth. That is very hard to block. But what I've learned is there are Faraday cages do work, but not very well or minimally. It has to be done in layers. You need multiple layers in order for it to work, but that takes up a lot of room. So if you had 5 layers of Faraday cage, you would attenuate a significant portion of the attack, but not entirely. And, let's face it, any relief is relief at this point. Which led me then to, let me talk about Faraday cages for a minute. A Faraday cage is a conductive surface that completely surrounds you with no holes or gaps.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be grounded. It just needs to be a complete surround.
Yeah.
One of the simple ways that I found is that you can find these bed covers. They're like mosquito netting.
Okay.
Where it drapes over.
Okay.
And they're about $200 for a full size, queen bed.
Yeah.
And then you need underneath it another layer so it covers the bottom.
Okay.
And that will provide a single layer Faraday cage. And then you can double and triple it up. Now, the layers cannot be touching. They have to be separated.
Okay, got you.
And I'm still working on it, but it appears that depending on the wavelength, the literal length of the wave as it travels through open space,
okay,
has a influence on the separation necessary for each layer of the Faraday cage. So
got you.
To separate each layer by a foot or two, or even up to two meters, depending on the frequency that's being used.
Got you. So you would definitely need multiple layers.
Yes.
Okay, got you. So it can become pretty costly.
Yes. However, what I've found is that you can use any conductive material. For example, carbon paint. Or you can make it or buy it. It's expensive to buy it, but cheap to mix it. If you get a polyurethane paint and just no color, cheapest thing you can find, and you mix it with carbon powder. You want a really fine grain powder, and it's messy. Oh God. You'll want to wear breathing protection while you do it, so you don't get it in your lungs while it poofs into the air while you mix it. But you don't need to add a lot of graphene powder to the paint, but it will make it conductive. A way that you can test it is paint it on a surface and then use a multimeter to measure the resistance of the paint once it dries. Once you get it enough that it has conductivity, then you've got a conductive paint. And now you can paint it on any surface. If you were to take a room as think of it like a spaceship. Spaceships have a solar storm shelter.
Yeah.
It's one small room inside the craft, which is the highest shielding. So you could take a closet in your room, in your house or something, and turn it into a shielding room.
Yeah, see, that's what I had mentioned on one of the lives before. We were all talking, where I was even thinking about acoustic shielding, like paneling in a closet, a small space. You would definitely need to do this in a small space area.
Yeah.
Because I notice when I'm in between a nook and a cranny, it seems a lot harder.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed that. So I went in between a space. I was just trying to test things out. But in between a sink and a wall. And it seemed to be a lot more difficult for some of the attacks.
Yep. It doesn't cut it completely, but it does knock it down significantly, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It did.
So the thought I have here that I've tested is paint the closet, ceiling, floor, door, everything, walls, everything.
With the lead paint?
What?
Paint it with what? The lead paint?
The carbon paint that I just described.
The carbon paint. Okay.
Yeah, for a gallon of paint, you'll put maybe a quarter cup, an eighth cup of carbon powder in it.
Yeah.
And that'll help.
Got you.
To help layer it is you need separation. So you could paint the wall.
Okay.
And then cover it with cardboard, quarter-inch cardboard. And then paint the cardboard. And then put another layer of cardboard on it and paint that cardboard. Now you've got 3 layers. And that will help significantly. Now, in my study of these paint-on Faraday cages, I've been studying metamaterials. Now, it's a very complicated, ambiguous name, but what it really means is an array of resonators. Now, a resonator is an antenna that's not connected to anything. It just sits there and resonates. So there are I resonators, C resonators. There are different shapes of resonators. Think of it like a small loop antenna.
Yeah.
Size of the resonator, like a tuning fork, responds or will resonate when struck with its frequency at size. So, like a 2-meter antenna is about 150 megahertz.
Okay, got you.
Now, as there are other harmonics, so you can use a half wave, which is a 1-meter antenna, to make it smaller.
Yeah.
And you can use those, get it smaller and smaller. So what it does is, and I'm working on the calculations so that I can share it with everybody later.
Okay.
Again, I'm, so cut off at the knees that work is very slow.
Yeah,
But
same here. Like they're attacking me from so many different just angles, even like my vehicle, my job. I mean, it's just getting out of control. Every attack you could possibly think of right now. These guys, it really seems like they're working out of desperation on my end. I don't know what their deal is, but it's just ridiculous. And they're all about, with me, the mockery is all throughout the day.
Well, I think these people all realize that they've been standing under the shitter the whole time and didn't know it, and it's about to get flushed on their heads.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a lot of these guys are about to realize what, it's all about and where they really stand.
Yep. They're about to have the poo on them. Oh.
Yeah, I agree.
So moving forward with the metamaterial. Now, the metamaterial is just a bunch of these resonators right next to each other at proper spacing. So imagine, let's just go with a C resonator. It's like a loop antenna where it's just a circle of wire. But now you have these little antennas all across next to each other in a repeating pattern. And what you can do is make a roller stencil with these patterns on the stencil and just roll it onto a piece of cardboard. And the way it does is it steers the signal around you. So if you have this metamaterial and it needs a bunch of layers with proper spacing, there's math and engineering involved, but in the end, once you have the numbers, it's a child's play arts and crafts afternoon to do it. And what it does is it steers the frequency around you. So the signal hits the first resonator, and then that resonator starts resonating. And then the ones next to it start resonating, and it spreads out over the surface. Instead of going through, it steers it around you and then emits it out the back side. And that will help significantly twofold. One, it helps shield you from it. And B, it hides you from it so that it doesn't see you anymore.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm still working on getting the math solved.
Yeah.
This is a good segue into the frequencies that I've learned that they're using. Now, I've been studying bioelectrics and bioresonance since I was a child.
Yeah.
And there are what are called window frequencies. These frequencies are frequencies that are resonant to natural materials. For example, your microwave oven operates at 2.43 gigahertz. The reason it operates at 2.43 gigahertz is what's called the water absorption band.
Okay.
Water vibrate like a tuning fork. vibrates at 2.4 gigahertz, heating it. So when you hit something at its resonance, it heats. Now, your body is mostly water, right?
Yeah.
So if you were to build a weapon to perturb the human body, the first frequency you would look at is water. So that's one window we look at.
Yeah.
And then you look at the old Fry effect. It's called the microwave hearing effect. Now, my grandfather told me about this when I was a kid, and it didn't have relevance in my head until way later, but he was stationed at the Antarctic listening post during post-World War II.
Yeah.
And he told me that they used to aim the radar dishes, and this is before the microwave was a thing in the kitchen. Actually, it was originally called a radar range that we now call a microwave oven. And he told me two things that stuck out in my head. One was they would cook their dinner under the microwave. They would just put their dinners in front of the microwave emitter, and it would get hot in a few minutes.
Oh, wow.
And the other one is that they used to play pranks on each other, where they would aim the microwave array at unsuspecting friends at the base. And they would hear a high-pitched squeal in their head, which is later called the microwave hearing effect, and later labeled the Fry effect. And that's at about 900 megahertz for the old microwave systems. Now, what they've done is modulate that radar signal similar to what you would find in a parametric tweeter, plasma speaker, where it is turning the switch on and off in an irregular pattern that approximates the sound or that you're trying to make. And that will then put voices in your head. Now, the cellular networks, let's go back to, original cell phones operated about 900 megahertz. And modern phones now, when you're making a phone call on your phone, it still uses 900 megahertz. And now with the advent of networking on phones, or i.e. 4G, 3G, 4G, they use 2.4 gigahertz, which is water heating. So the cellular networks, as is, already operate in the two worst possible frequencies for biology. Now, if they had designed them to operate several hundred megahertz higher or lower, this wouldn't be an issue at all, because you're now outside of that band, that window frequency, which leads me to believe that they knew this and they did it anyway because it could double down as a weapon. Which brings me to 5G and the next window. If you keep going up in frequency from water at 2.4 gigahertz, there are others in between, but the next most interesting one is oxygen, which has a resonance frequency of 60 gigahertz. Now, 5G operates in what's called the C-band.
Okay.
And now the C-band itself isn't inside of any window frequencies, biological window frequencies. Your handhelds all operate in C-band. However, the infrastructure antennas have a capability of their internal oscillators are 96 gigahertz. What that means is that they can oscillate at any frequency or combination thereof below 96 gigahertz, which means that it could be programmed to oscillate at 60 gigahertz, which is the oxygen absorption band. Now, what that does biologically is dissociate oxygen bonds from your blood vessel, from your blood corpuscle.
Okay.
Which can cause embolism.
Okay.
So basically, the oxygen that's absorbed in your blood disconnects from the corpuscle that it is bound to, and then is freeform in your blood, causing bubbles of oxygen. Even worse is your its effect on your mitochondria. It interrupts what's called the oxyredox process.
Okay.
Your mitochondria burning the fuel for the cells is the oxyredox cycle. And you've got about 20 seconds to live if that is completely interrupted.
Okay.
Meaning that it is a weapon that can kill, not just harass.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with 5G. 5G itself is fucking awesome. It's the first time any communications platform is outside of biological windows. But the infrastructure antennas can be weaponized, because in order to serve all the different phones and everything,
well, isn't it? Let me stop right there.
Go ahead.
Well, let me stop right there, because isn't it in the range of biological if it runs off of 95 gigahertz?
No. That's the maximum oscillation that the infrastructure antenna is capable of ringing.
Okay.
So if someone were to reprogram the infrastructure or tower antenna to ring at 60 gigahertz and then use the capability of the phased array, which allows you to collimate and steer the beam.
Well, see, my thing is the thing with the 5G, which I agree with more of a natural type energy. So I'm all for like the solar panels and stuff like that. But my research on the 5G, I saw where there was an article, how the DoD created what they call crowd control. It resonates. It resonates at 95 gigahertz. So I believe the 5G does as well, which is kind of like, So I'm all for like more like natural energy, and I think you and I have had this discussion before, where a lot of your ideas are more of that of nature.
Well, these aren't ideas. These aren't feelings. These are the actual, literal, documented information.
Yeah, exactly.
Physics. I'm not able to fight anymore against people's feelings. And
same here. I'm unable to battle anybody's emotions or even energy at this point. Where I definitely feel like I need a boost or a reboost of good charging energy of nature and love and light, but I'm unable to receive that right now. So it's becoming really difficult. And I know you and I are in the same boat. It's becoming really difficult for me to really just do anything, to be in my state of being of omness, is what I call it, OM. And just be love. And to even do things like, encounter love or receive love. It's really sad, to watch somebody in front of me and as I envy with, just like, oh, they're able to walk normal. Like, I'm over here like, I admire the beauty in all things. But this is just causing just so much trials and tribulations on my end, where I'm just ready for this to move forward and be over.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm ready for this just to move forward. Because I've noticed a lot of narcissistic energy is just running amok, a lot of disgruntled energy that I cannot handle. Yeah. Where, I'm just in a state of being where I'm just like looking around and going, calm down.
Yeah.
But I have to endure a lot of this excitement in public places and my workplace, which is really, really difficult for me.
Yep.
You know,
Well, that's
especially when I encounter an aggressive energy that is a false. I want to talk about the false dominance, the false dominant energy, which is the narcissistic energy that you and I talked about earlier, Nick. Encountering the false dominant, which is that narcissistic energy, is becoming really, really difficult. You know, for myself, and I know for others, but it's really becoming difficult. Where I hope, you know, this whatever, and I'm just going to call it whatever for right now, moves forward, and we can get through this thing. I'm hoping.
Yep. Well, like to what you just mentioned, how can we center our energies while we're out? And, Melissa just asked the question, what can protect us while we're out? And I do have a few things that I've found. Tesla, as well as other people, have spoke of positive frequencies. Now, we know that this technology and frequencies can be used to harm, and it can be used to heal.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've come up with that's helped me are little leg strap electric pulsar, similar to a Tenzi. We know that 60 hertz is bad, 40 hertz is good.
Yeah.
So what I've done is, and it works, it's just a little awkward, is you electrically pulse your body.
There you go, Strange Times.
At very low energy densities, nothing like you're going to even feel a shock or anything, but it's a small electric pulsar.
So what do you think that's going to do? Reboot your system?
You know, I've got to get back to the fundamentals of neurology and how this stuff works against you. There's a thing called MPS, minimal perceptible, or MPL, minimal perceptible level. Your neurology ignores the loud signals, but immediately keys to the barely perceptible stuff, which is part of the reason why this stuff is difficult to detect, is because it's being kept in the minimal perceptible levels. It's like you'll notice with V2K how it rides on noise, but it adjusts the level. So like, look out for Charlie mentions, is you can trick the system into becoming louder and detectable if you do a loud noise and then get quiet all of a sudden. The system has a lag time in response of adjusting those levels. So one of the things that I found works for me is a small, there's two approaches. One is an electromagnetic. 369 method is a mathematical vortex math. That I'll get into that later.
Okay.
Sorry, Strange Times has a question about Nikola Tesla's 369, but that's a vortex math calculation. That's why it's the root. It allows you to calculate these frequencies with ease. Base 10 math is junk. It's all base 12. But I digress. Getting back to personal.
So do you think the base 10 math is to avoid the base 12?
No, base 10 is junk. You have 10 fingers, right? People think that's natural. How many knuckles do you have? 12. People used to do all their math in base 12, counting knuckles. Here, let me switch to the camera. So you have 10 fingers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But math is done as knuckles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, and then multiples. So right hand is your essentially your ones place, and your left hand is your tens place, or multiples of 12. But I don't want. I want to get back to explaining the frequency portable shielding. Is that there are two methods. D. Howlett on YouTube does an excellent job of showing you how to build an electromagnetic pulsar. A very simple device. She's using a microcontroller, but it's possible to do it in a simpler approach. But if you can get a local oscillator that you keep on your person, then your body will listen to that. You can also use an electric stimulator like a TENS unit, which will electrically put an electrical current through your body, but you keep it low enough that you don't feel the shock. You're not shocking yourself. You're just introducing electrically a frequency to your body. Now, when you do that, your body is listening to that happily because it enjoys that kind of stimulation and will ignore the attack frequencies a lot better. If you don't have it, then all your body has to do is listen to the attack frequencies. It's like you're driving your car and stop at a stoplight and some asshole next to you is bumping hate music. Now, what you can do is turn up, close your windows and turn on something you enjoy. And you're affected by that hate music a lot less. Yeah, you still hear it, but your body's not getting upset by listening to some guy curse and satanically, like death metal, hate music. It affects you a lot less when you have your headphones in or your own radio playing what you like. You can still hear the other stuff, but not nearly as much. And that's really the best I've come up with for portable shielding. It's more like portable distraction, where you have your own system that's pulsing at a biologically positive frequency instead of being forced to listen to biologically negative frequencies. It is possible to get a TENS unit and put it at 40 hertz AM modulation. So it's going, instead of going at 40 hertz, it's going row, 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 row.
And that's the one that we need, is that one, Nick. That's the one that we need.
I need a place to build and have parts sent to.
That's the one that we need. That's the one that we need.
I only have this place for a short time to get my stuff together.
Me too.
I'm back up the mountain on permanent. What I need is help, either somebody who has the knowledge to understand what I'm saying so that they can build by my spec, or somehow for me to get a workbench where I can sit my happy ass down for a month or two and just start building.
Well, let's get that information out there real quick, Nick. If you want to give your information on how somebody could actually donate or get in contact with you.
Yes.
If you want to go ahead and put that information in the comments below.
Yeah, here, let me go.
If anybody wants to contribute to assist Nick with his ideas and putting this stuff together, and I've watched him, his ideas are just incredible and phenomenal. And he's got some really good ideas. And I agree with him 100% with his ideas compared to a lot of other ideas that have been presented.
There in chat, I have put my phone number and email for anybody that wishes to. If anybody wants to donate, we'll discuss that later. I'm so starved for resources right now that I'm afraid that donations will go to survival right now.
Yeah, and that's so how it is with us right now. A lot of survival on our end.
Yeah, and so I need to get this going. Oh, let's see here. Strange Times ask a question. You can use your phone with the online frequency generator? Yes. That's called the audio pathway. You have several pathways in your body. There is a audio pathway, there is a electrical pathway, and there is a magnetic pathway. And each of these can be exploited to harm or to heal.
Yeah.
The problem is the attack devices are compact and portable. but the shielding against it has to be monolithic and is large, which has left me to focus on the biopulsars. The Schumann resonators are good, but 7.83 hertz, if done wrong, isn't beneficial. It's like too much good, no good, but just the right amount works perfect. And so I'm working on other frequencies that are a little bit better. There's also heterodyning, which is what this technology is doing. You can use, I'm working on multiple frequencies that are beneficial, which will help increase the ability to promote healthiness instead of promote disease or dis-ease. Let's see here. I shared the patent on the V2K remote neuromonitoring stuff, and I've known this for a while. I'm just glad I found the patent, and it confirmed everything I thought and knew about it. But
you get the ringing in the ear, strange times. Okay.
Yeah, the ringing in the ear is the attack signal. That's called the microwave hearing effect.
Okay.
Or the Fry effect. Yes, 7.83 is hard to produce. It's a very long wavelength that you need a large antenna for, but you really don't. You're really just trying to get a signal that's loud enough for your body to perceive, which can be done with a flat coil. And I've shared several designs on this before. And I'm just running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And I'm being attacked too. So it's very difficult for me to keep forward momentum through the brain fog and all the bullshit. Every time I have had a moment to sit down and build this stuff and test and verify, any forward progress I make, my life gets destroyed. For example, last time I had a resonator built that was capable of producing multiple frequencies simultaneously. I used the coil pulsar that I had was a quadrophile flat spiral coil, which has 4 coils wound flat in parallel but wired in series. So it's like a bifilar, but this is a quadrophile or a pentaphile coil. I'm sorry, it's very difficult to abbreviate decades of research and knowledge in a single program. And to organize all of the slides and other information into a something to show is also very difficult for me. I'm just trying to do my best. Let's see here. Yes, I've heard of a servo drive transducer, but you have to think of field shape. Strange times. The shape of the coil is the field, determines the shape of the electromagnetic field produced.
So Nick, going back to see a lot of the things that I describe, because I don't know the actual terms or names, I can mimic the sounds of things, but what you were talking about earlier, the wom 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 wom, yeah, basically, so like a biofield. Yeah,
they're creating.
So in all honesty, I think we already kind of produce that as humans.
We do.
Yeah, we do. So the whole coil thing definitely makes sense to me, and I think we would need that probably on a larger scale. So we need to get more people on your channel. Anybody wants to make a donation to assist Nick on this journey would be great, regardless if it's $1, $5, $10, whatever you can hand out, dude, anything will help. But
Yeah,
yeah,
anything
I
helps.
totally,
Anything to keep me alive
agree
long
with
enough.
your idea, Nick. Is a really good idea.
Thank you, Christina. Oh, that reminds me, corner reflectors. Another approach that I had to shielding was to interfere with their ability to get the feedback.
Okay, so when it comes to reflectors, I mentioned this on another live when I did the screen share, but Obsidian, the Obsidian mirror, which unfortunately is kind of costly. It's like 30, 40 bucks.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about something that could be made out of the tin foil in your drawer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it's called a corner reflector.
Okay.
You origami a couple pieces of tin foil together. You'll have to look it up on YouTube or on Google what a corner reflector is.
Okay.
It's what it does is it's used in radar to, like on boats, to increase the signal return to the radar. So in our case, there are two parts of the tech attacking us. There is the read and there is the write.
Okay.
If they can continue to pulse you, but if they don't get the feedback, the reading part, then how do they know what they're doing? How do they know what they're acquiring? How do they know how to modify the signal to perturb you? They don't. So a corner reflector bounces the signal right back to the signal source, no matter what direction the signal source is coming from. And if you distribute several of these around your environment, it will bounce. The more you have of these, the better. And I'm even thinking of like a wall where you have corner reflectors across the whole wall. And what that will do is bounce the signal right back to the source. So anytime they move, it's just going to point it right back at them, interrupting their ability to get any kind of feedback, thus making you a harder target. And hopefully they just get bored because their shit don't work right anymore. And I believe that is the key right now, is to make ourselves harder targets. Because right now we're all sitting ducks because I'm going to say it. Everybody's fighting and infighting. Everybody's trying to be heard. And I don't blame them. But there's a lot of misinformation of people that have feelings or thoughts instead of hardcore educated facts. And that has been my biggest frustration, is me trying to tell, no, these are the measured, qualifiable information. Screw your feelings. And I don't mean it to sound mean, but that's kind of the attitude that I'm at now, is that I've spent a lifetime understanding this stuff and researching it. And these are the qualitative facts that I have come up with. And I've even built devices to prove it. But again, they all get destroyed and stolen and etc. So it's difficult. Like my last YouTube that got deleted had my biopulsar design and tests and evidences there. But I start getting to the next stage, which I'll describe in a second, is hunting down and then disabling their transmitters through what's called a backdoor attack, so they can no longer transmit. Oh, we still here? So my next step, I guess I'll get into, assuming that we're still up and running here, is what's called fox hunting. It's something I did as a Boy Scout, where the Scoutmaster would hide a little transmitter off in the bushes on the far side of the park. And all the Boy Scouts would build small direction finding antennas. And then we'd have to hunt down where the radio signal was coming from. Now, knowing the frequencies that they're using roughly, you can do that to find where the antenna is, or what direction the nefarious signal is coming from. Once you do that, you can use what's called a backdoor attack, which takes the incoming signal, bounces it right back, but massively amplified on a directional antenna, like a Yagi, and like the actual designs are unique. And what it does is it forces a short circuit condition in their transmitter, thus frying their final stage and no longer transmits. And that's what I'm working on now. It's one thing to shield and help your body survive the attacks. It's an entirely different monster, not impossible by any means, to hunt down and disable their transmitters. But it's important to do it in a localized surgical manner so that you don't affect everybody else's cell phones. You don't want to knock the whole system, you don't want to knock offline all other transmitters in the area. You just want to shut down the one that's attacking you.
All right, there was some guy that made a powered coil that blocks V2K.
I've run into a lot of people that say it does, but when I look at their schematics or get a picture and reverse engineer what I think they're doing, I don't really see that they're going to be effective in that manner. I believe the several projects that I've found are just,
I hate when it's been tracking my
broadcast. They're too much. They're just that's not how physics works, so to speak. Some of the only people that I have found online that know what they're talking about beyond a shadow of a doubt is Dee Howlett from the UK, and Look Out for Charlie. Those two and very few others, I believe, have got it right. They're the only ones that have their heads based in reality, as far as I'm concerned. Everybody else is playing catch up and trying to do their best. I'm not trying to dismiss or diminish their efforts, but it's important that we slow down and keep our heads in reality, in physics, in what we can quantifiably measure and prove, not use our feelings of how we think this is, because that's how disinformation gets spread. Let me see if I can get a link. D as in D-E-E, Howlett. It's under targeted UK. I can't quite switch applications right now. Even though I've got a new phone, it only took them a week or two to get it all corrupted and hacked. So a lot of the application sharing and some of the features of my phone just won't work, at least not stably. But I'm doing my best to do every workaround I can. I'll see if I can add them to the chats later. But we have to, I mean, these technologies are all radio based. If you study radios, then you'll begin to understand. I mean, I've been building and working with radios since I was a kid. I built my first Tesla coil when I was 10, and it was shooting sparks across the ground 10, 20 feet. It's because I used several microwave transformers. I built a big one. I really shouldn't have. It scared the piss out of me. But now that I'm older and way more experienced, you know, like I understand how these things work. And Melissa Mosby, yes, I do need a home, but I can't have a home because that makes me even more of a sitting duck and hurts me more. So it's kind of this double bind catch 22 where I have to balance my needs and wants. You know, I need to be able to function, but I want to have a safe home. And I've found that my targeting is the worst when I am trapped in a home. And that's really what they do, is they trap me. And then when I start getting, yes, strange times, I was describing, you can use a TENS unit at 40 hertz AM modulation. For, you know, I'm just talking fundamental, rudimentary. There's way better things that can be done, but this is a crowbar method that could be used. A TENS unit with an AM modulation of 40 hertz will help. You don't need to have it up so high that you even feel it. Actually, the best thing you can do is turn it up about 10%. And if you feel it shocking you, turn it down a little bit till you don't feel it anymore. You just need a low signal. A low signal to be able to do that. A TENS unit can also be used for an electromagnetic coil, you know, about 300 turns on a ferrite rod, like an AM, like disassemble an AM radio and put a couple hundred turns of small magnetic wire on it. But you need to make sure that the resistance across the coil is high enough, because you don't want to short the TENS unit, which is why I have to build a custom made unit to be able to do that. And all it is what I'm designing is an op-amp oscillator to drive it, a MOSFET, which will handle the coil driving. So it's just a op-amp in a feedback loop. And then you have to tune it. That's the hard part. Melissa, I'm in Utah, and I don't really have a way to travel very well. I have to paramotor everywhere I go now. So in order for me to go to one state, it takes me, I can only travel about 100 miles a day.
Melissa said that she has a garage.
Yep. But some good news on the development front is I have now the tool on my person to do rudimentary building. I found a soldering iron, which will allow me to build. So very soon, I should be able to at least be getting some stuff mobile. But I believe what would be even more helpful is if I can get in contact, intimate contact with a few people that have the ability to understand what I'm saying and solder things together, then we can work back and forth. I can be the brain and the mouth, and they can be my hands and ears. With technology, we can video conference all day long. I've got a solar panel, I've got a phone and a reliable connection, so I can communicate with anybody that's capable of building. If they can get the parts, like for example, if we can get some funding going, it doesn't even have to be much. These things are only like, it'll be maybe $100 in parts to get the people the tools they need to build. And then the parts off Amazon and whatnot, and they're cheap. You know, it's like 30 cents for this chip, 50 cents for that chip. It's cheap stuff. So if I can get schematics and everything to them, which I've got all of them together, I can do the brain work and get the things designed. If I can have somebody that can actually build.
Jason, so I would imagine that connecting the TENS unit to a large magnet probably created some kind of biofield.
Yes, that is actually, like Christina with your crystals.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's why I always recommend the large pieces. So a lot of people run around with these small pieces. You got to get the large pieces.
Yes, but the crystals and their lattices are inert and they do not project until you stimulate. You need to wrap a coil around the crystal or put on it like a flat coil.
So anybody interested, like with what Nick just stated, I've actually done something really similar. So they're called tower busters.
Yes.
A lot of people spend, buku money on displays. You can actually get simple ones that you can make with just regular, kind of like river rocks that you can buy at the Dollar Tree, a large jar, and a thick copper wire.
Yep, and but I can, with my designs, I can help people build them for $10.
Yeah.
But in order to buy one of these activators, or these pulsars, is fucking expensive. It's because it's new agey. I do not like new age stuff because they're perverting the information based on feelings, not quantifiable facts.
Okay.
These facts have been known for a long time, even before Tesla.
Yeah.
But I see this new age movement, even for a long time, as disinformation campaigns, because they want to manipulate your emotions because they know that you haven't put the time in to learn the facts. And they want to make money off of that. So really what they're doing is they're perverting the information for their own gain. And it's become so widespread that this amplifies off of that source. And now they all think they have it right. And then it's really just hiding the truth deeper. There is truth to be had there. There is a discussion to be had there. But very few people have the background in the technology and the physics of it to have a relevant discussion.
Yeah.
Which is part of the reason that I get so torqued off and frustrated, is that I'm trying to explain the literal, provable physics against somebody with feelings. It's like dealing with these Antifa types.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to like compare anybody. It's just the emotional equivalent. It's a form of gaslighting that is so underhanded.
Yeah.
That it's maddening. And so it's like, it's like when I'm in the chats on videos, I'm trying to get the information out, but I cannot type fast enough on a keyboard, let alone a small thumbboard on a phone, to try to keep up with the information to rebut. Which is why I'm grateful for you having me on your stream today, so that I can actually get my information out.
Yeah, and that's what we need. We need to get the info out there and get this ball rolling and get this started.
Yeah, and I've got many of the circuits already tested. I have a spice simulator that works very well. if I could screen share, I don't know how to do that with StreamYard yet. But we can coordinate this as we go. I mean, this is what's important, is just getting the information out and showing people the physics of it and how it lines up with facts.
Yeah, exactly.
So that we can castrate this evil spell that's being put out. I mean, like Vulcan Wolverine says, you don't fight fire with fire, you fight fire with water.
Yeah, you throw it a bucket of water on that bitch.
Exactly.
That's what I've always said. You don't fight fire with fire, you throw a bucket of water on that bitch.
Yep. Let's see, let me check them. Jason, Reddit. I actually am very picky choosy, and overly so, and unhealthily so, to protect this information.
Yeah,
And
definitely. That's why we choose. I'm not much for popularity, but yeah, you got to be careful. Okay, so Melissa just said, I can't help but have a garage and work table you can use.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. Yeah, it's difficult for me to get to Indiana, which is why I'm hoping that we can, through the community, find people that I can work with remotely, because I can email schematics. I can video conference with them and walk through it step by step, how to build. But I need to start with people that have a little bit of a background in soldering and electronics. They don't even have to have a great background. I mean, if they have worked with prototyping boards or some circuitry, then I can coordinate with them video conferencing in other ways to feed them the information and schematics I have. But there's always the other half of the information, is that even though the knowledge I have is good, circuits don't build themselves, they don't design themselves, and the first one you build never works right. And I'm on iteration 12. So I have a lot of good circuits that are ready to roll, but we need to get feedback information of people that are able to build and give feedback, honest feedback. Like this, if it were up a little higher, it would work. Let's turn it down a little bit. Hey, we just learned this new set of frequencies. Let's try that. Like, for example, if I can tie a couple things together, Vulcan Wolverine, he was right with the ZVS driver, but he was wrong on two fronts. One, the coil he was using was the wrong shape to create the field necessary. And two, it could be improved upon by using a parametric ZVS driver, which could play music. It'll any frequency you tell it to do. Which then brings me to the next one, Dave Case. Dave Case is great, but it's fucking annoying to listen to. It's because it's using the wrong channel. Again, there's audio, electric, and magnetic channels. If you were to use the parametric ZVS driver to play Dave Case's CD, that would work. And it worked for me. It is effective. That is how I achieved the 30%, and I'm being conservative, attenuation of the attacks.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
furthermore, Dave Case used what's called an Atari Punk to generate those sounds. Again, it's just a couple of 555 timers strung together.
Were they more of a high-pitched tone?
What's that?
Were they more of a high-pitched tone?
It's more statics and squealing.
Okay, so it's just to kind of disrupt the frequency.
Yeah. All his unit is creating a heck of a lot of noise, so that it's basically the equivalent of putting headphones on with white noise.
except for it's a more complicated pattern, which throws off the attack frequencies. Again, everybody's right, but it needs to be put together. They're all pieces of a puzzle. Because let's face it, it might, Dave Case's CD might block it if with headphones and whatnot. But do you really want to be listening to that for all day, all night? Or can you use a different channel that's not so affronting to it? I mean, it's almost an attack in of itself to have to listen to the squealing. But if you use an electromagnetic or an electrical pathway, my theory is it would be my theory that I was working on proving last was much more effective using an electromagnetic and or electric pathway. Thank you, Strange Times. Yes, I would love to coordinate with you. A little higher in the chat, I put my email and my phone number there. Yes, but that's a week of squealing and other stuff. No, it does work, but I believe that there's another pathway that can be used so that it's not so off-putting. Well, if anybody can write down my information, my phone number is 206-247-8030. My email address is nicholas.hamblin@gmail.com. And please understand, I'm going through the attacks like everybody else, so I won't have time all the time. But we can absolutely coordinate and get this stuff done.
It did work for you, Jason? I haven't tried it yet.
Well, I have had I've found a lot of people have had positive results with it. But the most common frustration is all day long, which is, yeah, sure, it blocks it, but you know, it does have an effective nature to it. But at the same time, I mean, oh my God, I mean, to have to listen to that all day I couldn't do it.
Yeah, they are attacks on our consciousness. They're the destroyers of consciousness. Archonic forces. Yeah, they're the destroyers of consciousness. Yeah, we all have the RNM. Yeah, they're definitely the destroyers of consciousness. So, everything is me, me, me. It's like attention whores from hell.
Yeah, it's just absolutely thought destroying. This stuff is. It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes every fiber of my being to just remain calm during the worst of it.
Yeah, right. Same here. Trying to remain calm. When they start aggravating and attacking.
But I'm getting another YouTube up and running because they're about to delete the one I have now. So the next couple of days are going to be trying to get that set up. My thought is to try to copy or mirror my second channel to my third channel. And so that if they delete the second one, it's all still there on the third one. But right now I'm so financially strapped that I can't afford the extra storage space on the Google Cloud, even if it is just for a 1 month subscription for the few days it takes me to back up and restore the other one. So I've really had to
Jason, any kind of signal or any kind of acoustics, you're going to want to use acoustic shielding. So you can get, I think, like 40 or 50 of them for like 40, 50 bucks on Amazon. Soundproof studio material.
Well, I've also, speaking of acoustic shielding, I have found a MIT research grant in which they built a pagoda-like structure that has the same effect as metamaterial does on electromagnetic waves. It bounces all sound within the bandwidth of the cavity away from the middle. So essentially, if you're standing in the middle of it, you disappear. Essentially creating what I can best describe as a negative space. And Melissa, no, I can't take Greyhound. I've got a 100-pound glider that I have to transport. So it's very difficult for me. And for safety's sake and prudence, I believe it the best decision to all work remotely. Every time I've tried to work with other targets directly, things get bad quick because it's not our fault. It's just the nature of the beast. As much as I want to, we have to work on realistic solutions that will protect our individuality and not provoke even greater attacks. It's like that movie Hancock, where they get close to each other, they start dying, but when they're apart, they're the strongest people alive. And I'm sorry, but that is one of the unfortunate natures of the targeting. And even for me, I can only spend a week or so indoors before I start going absolutely batshit bonkers. Let's see if I can get a comment put in here. Oh, dang it. It's not working right.
Let me see if I can get a message in the chat here. Oops. Oh, wow. This thing's getting weird. There we go. Yeah, all right, here's my phone number. There's my email. I hope it shows up in chat. Again, if you can write it down and can hear me right now, it's 206-247-8030 for my phone number, and my email is nicholas.hamblin@gmail.com. Jason, I believe you have a good plan there. We were talking about that earlier in the broadcast, to create like a shielding bunker instead of trying to shield your whole house. Ooh, I just remembered another variant that I made on the parametric generator is a couple different coil types. One that also will work is a loop antenna around the room being driven at appropriate frequencies. That would allow you with minimal effort to shield a room and fill it with good energies, appropriate bioresonant frequencies. And again, the operation of that is that your body is listening to something it enjoys and is beneficial, which would help it ignore the attack signals. Yes, it's called nested Faraday cage. When one won't do, 3 or 4 might help. They need to be completely surrounding. Faraday cage does not necessarily need to be grounded, as it's essentially its own virtual ground, so that you're creating a differential, or a differential in pathway. Each Faraday cage needs to be separated, not laying one on top of another. Otherwise, it's just one Faraday cage layer. If one Faraday cage touches the other nested Faraday cage, they become as one. So they have to have isolation between them. Now, I'm still doing research on the spacing necessary to be effective, but as far as I understand, they just need to be galvanically separated. General reports that I've found is a cloth Faraday cage has about a 10% attenuation, whereas multiples should add to that significantly. Now, I'm not sure if it creates a logarithmic
attenuation or a linear attenuation. But I do know for sure that multiple layers will help. Like I was discussing earlier, using a carbon-based, graphene carbon-based paint, which is expensive to buy, but very cheap to mix yourself, in which all you need is graphene powder, which you can get a keg of that stuff for $20 on Amazon, and mix it with a base paint. It doesn't matter what color you mix it with, it's just going to be black anyway. So just a clear polyurethane type paint would be just fine to mix it with. Again, a gallon, you'll want to mix several tablespoons to about an 1/8 cup of the powder per gallon of paint. And you'll want to do a test swath of that paint to see that it has a low enough impedance. You don't want something, I mean, carbon is already highly conductive. And then you can use cardboard layers to separate it. But it has to be connected to each other in a continuous manner so that it completely surrounds you. Yes, 2 inches could be sufficient. Again, I am doing research into wavelength calculations to make sure that it will attenuate instead of propagate. And you can get cardboard in many different thicknesses. Thank you, Melissa. Loves and prayers for you too. Hang in there, sister. I know this shit's rough.
Oh no, what happened to Nick?
Here I
There
am.
you go.
Sorry, I had to drop off so that I could put a comment in the
Oh, you're okay.
chat.
Make sure you put your info in there too, Nick.
Yep, I put my phone number and email
Okay, good
in the
deal.
live chat. I'm not sure if the live chat will survive after the show ends, but
It
hopefully those who have it can share it with other appropriate individuals that can work with this. I just want to avoid the perps spamming crap out of me.
Yeah, I know. They love to do that.
But they're already doing it. So at this point,
Same
I don't
here.
care.
Yeah, me too. I don't give a crap about what they do anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even use my email anymore because it's just full of spam. I mean, it's literally 100 spams a minute. It's Oh, did you hear about the actress that got stabbed?
No, who was it?
Oh, I'm trying to remember her name. Reese.
Who was it?
Reese.
Witherspoon?
No, it was with a knife.
What the hell?
Boom, boom. It was a joke.
Oh my god! Oh my god! That's so funny! Oh my god!
You're welcome.
Love you, Nick.
I love you too, sister.
Oh god! I hope we make it through another day.
Well, at this point, I think these clowns are doing everything they can. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it's annoying. But I don't think they have the capability to do what they think they want to do.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of death threats on my YouTube lately.
Yeah, I noticed all the comments.
Yeah, there's one guy that's saying, Mr. Hamlin, you've been causing a lot of trouble. We have to assign more agents to you. I was like, bring it. At this point, the more agents you send, the better. It just proves what we're saying. It's the more you send, the more we catch.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we got another guy that's like, we're gonna fly a drone up and cut your cables.
What the hell?
Well, they don't understand the material the glider's made of. You can't hardly cut the lines with a razor sharp knife.
Yeah.
You've got to saw it with a brand new razor to even cut it. You think a drone blade's gonna do it?
No.
Oh, it'll tangle shit up, but it won't do what he thinks it's gonna do. It just goes to prove the lack of thought and education these morons have.
Yeah, no, they're definitely cowards for sure, especially with my attacks. The way I get attacked as a female, just shows you it's definitely, the most cowardly act.
Oh,
I mean, I don't give a fuck where you're from or who you are or none of that. It's just it is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I want to do is invite them to politely fuck off and leave this country.
Yeah, me too. They need to hit the fucking road.
I recommend
That's
China.
That's about as polite as I'm gonna get.
Right? I recommend they go live it up in China.
All right.
If they think it's so bad here and so great elsewhere, just go. Yeah, what I find funny is the ones that are like, oh, what did it say? Let's.
Yeah, so today should be an interesting day. Can't wait for that.
I mean, all I can do is laugh because their words are empty. They're just a
Yeah,
bunch
I
of
know.
fucks that are impotent to actually do anything.
Yeah.
Last perp. Oh, this is a funny one. The guy had the kid with the red shirt, and he was wearing the red shoes with the red shirt. And he's just spouting off to me, and I'm like, "Go away, you cuck." And he's like, "Did you just call me a fuck?" I'm like, "No, I called you a cuck." And he's like, "What's a cuck?" And I'm like, "Look it up, you moron."
Yeah, I know. Social skills.
It is.
There is no intellect. No intellect anywhere. Thinking, intelligent, life force.
Yeah, mental midgets are what they are.
Yeah. It's just getting out of control on my end.
Jason, you want to be careful about wide spectrum blocking.
Couldn't that be
Because
harmful?
you don't want, if you start jamming out other frequencies, you're going to have a whole new set of problems.
Yeah,
was a guy
you start blocking out natural frequencies too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
if you knock out everybody's Wi-Fi and cell connections, well, that's part of the point of the program. Is
Yeah.
they forced you to go too far, and now you're committing other felonies.
Yeah.
You have to get your engineering right so that you get it right, which is why I've been very cautious to do my research and education so that, measure 3 times, cut once in this instance. You cannot get it wrong. Well, no, you can get it wrong. You should not get it wrong because you start knocking out half the city's cellular connections and now you're in even bigger trouble. And not only that, they can prove a crime against you, thus hiding the actions of the perps against you because now they're focusing on you committing a terroristic act.
Yeah.
Which is why this is so imperative to use facts and not feelings and wants.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
And on a side note, wideband Faraday shielding is very bulky, large, and expensive to make. So you have to be like a surgeon, know the frequencies, be able to identify and detect the frequencies. For example, remember back in the day with your computer speakers that would go right before your cell phone would ring? That is a sign of how to detect it. Now, you don't need to decode the information. You just need to be able to identify. So if you use something similar to like a spirit radio, but you put a directional antenna on it, like a Yagi, now you can, just using your ear, discern the pattern pulse frequencies that are being transmitted. You won't be able to decode or discern the actual information data, but you'll be able to intuitively hear the difference between your Wi-Fi, the cell phone, a power supply in the corner, and then you'll be able to narrow down, oh, wait, this one that I'm listening to now is pulsing at the same rate my body is vibrating. That's your attack signal. You don't need to decode the information. You just need to be able to identify the fingerprint, so to speak. And that's how you identify the direction and that the attack is coming from. You can also use that as evidence collecting. But unfortunately, all these moron police don't have the education of a 5th grader. So even if you do collect damning evidence, they don't have the education to even know. For example, even if your neighbor was the one using a microwave weapon against you, if the police were to get a warrant to search their apartment for a weapon, they wouldn't even know that they're looking at a weapon. They couldn't tell the difference between they're dumb. Strange times. I have put my information in there several times. I have even voiced it several times. I'm hoping that it actually gets in there. I mean, YouTube could be blocking it. I don't know. I'm sorry. Strange times. Let me scroll back through the comments here. Let me try it another way again. I mean, as many times as it takes, I'll keep trying. I know I get frustrated, but I will never give up. Yes, Jason, that's exactly what I was saying. Let me try it this way. There we go. And then this. Yaw derp. Yaw derp. Derp derp. Derp derp derp. Derp derp. Derp derp. Derp 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 derp. Nope, that's the only way I can do it. But if nothing else, after the stream has ended, I'll go into the comments and add it there if I can. Actually, Christina, you could, I believe on StreamYard, you might be able to flash my information on the screen. Yes, Melissa, today is going to be a good day. I tell myself that every day.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Okay, I just shared a picture to my avatar of what a phased array mux looks like. Don't worry, Jason. I am happy to help you. As much help as you need, I am happy to help you. I wish there was a way I could share my screen and just start going over my notes in my file folders. It'll just have to be a stream once I get my YouTube up and functional again, which is in the works. So soon. Oh, excuse me. Oatmeal always does that to me. God, it's 10:30 and I'm just now getting to my oatmeal that I cooked at 8. I'm gonna plug my stuff in. Can't let my battery die. Well, I invite anybody to follow the link higher up in the chat and join us on the stream so that we can have a more natural conversation. Texting is great, but as I know, it's very difficult to express complex thoughts in a text chat. I'm not sure how many people this stream will support, but we're all here for you. You're welcome to pick my brain, and if I have an answer for you, I will explain it as best to my ability. Yeah, I've done some research on the bentonite and basalt rock. I've hiked into heavy mineral caves with very high copper content, and it didn't help. I was in a very remote part of Nevada, southern Nevada, where the old settler copper mines were. I went, God, 200 feet into the earth, even more than that. And it didn't help. It didn't help at all. Yes, that's something I would like to empirically test with actual meters and data. But bentonite clay is used for lining rivers to stop erosion. When it gets wet, forms a slimy surface that water can't penetrate. Now, I'm not saying there isn't alternative uses, but that's its primary use. My phone number is 206 247 8030. My email address is nicholas.hamblin@gmail.com, just like it says in the stream. First name Nicholas, Nicholas, period, Hamblin, HAMBLIN. That's Hotel Alpha Mary Bravo Lima India November @gmail.com. Nicholas, period, Hamblin @gmail.com. Did that help? Yes, Jason. It depends on your sample rate. It comes down to what's called the Nyquist rate. You need a sample rate twice the frequency of the highest frequency you're trying to get. So for 10 kilohertz top frequency, you would need a 20 kilohertz sample rate. However, you can go up to 23 kilohertz, which requires a Nyquist rate of 44 kilohertz. So it really comes down to your sound card's capability and its sample rate. I don't know how long, Jason, but you should be able to catch me with my phone number and or email. Melissa is trying to transcribe it into the chat right now. I can't seem to get it in there. It may help if you spell my phone number out. Let me try this. That's actually not a bad idea. Derp. Two zero 6 2 4 7 8 8 0 3 0. Let's see if that worked. Yep, there we go. That worked. There, I had to break it up phonetically. Thank you, Strange Times. I need hands. You're amazing, bro. Let's see. Did it get it all? Yeah, just add at gmail.com to the end of Nicholas period Hamblin. But do you guys have any questions for me? Let's try to go through a question and answer period here. I probably should get back to my day. Still got a million and one things to be doing. You know, it's a long list for research and development, and I want to try to get some once I get in contact with you, Jason, and once I can get in contact with you, Strange Times, and Jason and Christina, then we can start getting this stuff put together. I can email you my schematics and other things so that we can start getting parts ordered. I can even put together order lists from Amazon and other sources so that I can share with you at least the cheap sources and appropriate parts. You got to be careful when buying electronics parts nowadays, especially because some of them are fake, some of them not. And I've got sets of parts and components that I order from specifically because I know they're good. Oh, yeah, they're hitting me hard right now. I'm just really dizzy. My ears are freaking pulsing. It's fucking annoying. But I will survive. I will survive. Yeah, the one that I find most annoying right now, actually, it was. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Oh well, screw these clowns. They ain't been able to kill me yet. I don't think they've got the balls or capability to do it. Well, I think I need to get on my way here. Let's try to coordinate sometime in the future. Now that y'all have my information, send me a message, give me a call when you can, so we can get this information rolling. I know we're not going to get it right on the first or second try, but I think I've got us close enough that we can make leaps and bounds here from now on. All we got to do is do it. That's it. Push past the bullshit, push past the targeting and the attacks that they're doing to us, push past the drama. No fear, only love. That's all we got. No fear, only love. Love you guys. You have a beautiful day. Again, get in contact with Christina or myself so that we can coordinate. Hang in there. All the best wishes. All my love to you. Thanks, Jason. And thank you, Melissa, for transcribing. Well, we'll be back. I know we can, Jason. I know we can defeat these clowns. They've had us scrambled for too long, but they forgot the reason why they targeted us in the first place. That we are the alphas. We are the smart ones. They're trying to pull a Nazi move on us. So the mental midgets look like they're the smart ones while we get destroyed. But look how well that worked out for the Nazis. Weren't they all executed? We got this. Much love. Stay strong on the battlefield, everyone. I gotta go. Jason, get in contact with me.